Break the board sports. Happy Wednesday. Coming off last night. Click that like, hit subscribe. Orlando Magic, an absolute horrible lean on my part. They really floundered there. We did get the Bulls. That was a lean we gave out. They had to roar back against the 76ers. At one point in time, you could get them like plus 21.5 on the in-play. Again, that's why in-play is so good in the NBA. Warriors, they covered that money line parlay with the Pelicans, who I told you Pelicans would get their first win. It was a little dicey, but they were able to get home. And then the Clippers got thrashed there late last night. Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Let's get into the slate here on Wednesday. Got a good size one. Philadelphia 76ers coming off the back-to-back, visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. Darius Garland set to make his return to the Cavs. Right now, the Cavs laying 9.5. You're over under 234.5. 59% of bets, 56% of the handle going to the over. 41% of bets, 44% of the handle going to the under 234.5. Now, as far as the spread, 69% of ticket count, 65% of the money going to the Philadelphia 76ers. 31% of ticket count, 35% of the money going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. As far as Brooklyn and Indiana goes, Indiana laying 6.5 to Brooklyn, over under 233.5. Now that over under 50-50 on the ticket count. Pacers 65, or the under 65% of the handle, 35% of the handle to the over. As far as the spread, Pacers getting 55% of ticket count, but only 25% of the handle. Nets, they're getting 45% of ticket count, 75% of the handle. So let's hop into these two games here and see what we got shaking. As far as Philadelphia and Cleveland goes, Philadelphia now 5-2 on the season, 5-1-1 ATS. Cleveland comes in 4-3 straight up, 2-5 ATS. Remember, like I said, Darius Garland set to make his return. Philadelphia and Cleveland have split the last 10 meetings between these two teams that they've played. Again, when you look a little deeper into the game, Cleveland had a little rest. 76ers blew that huge lead to the Chicago Bulls last night. It's pretty wild to think that they were able to blow that thing. Now, last 10 games as a home favorite. Straight up, Cleveland's 5-5, but they haven't been very good against the spread in Cleveland, believe it or not. They're just 3-7 ATS at home. Not a good look. As a road dog, straight up, Philly 1-9, and straight up as a dog, period, 2-8. So those aren't very good. But as a road dog, 1-9 straight up, 2-7-1 ATS. Now, the Sixers coming off the back-to-back. There's questions about Joel Embiid. Will he suit up? For me, nothing I really want to get involved in. I think this is an in-play game, mainly because you don't know how much is Garland really going to play, and I don't want to lay 9.5 in an NBA game. NBA is great for halftimes, great for in-play. You saw it last night. You could have got the Pelicans at a great number. Even Orlando, I clicked on, even though they didn't cover, I clicked on Orlando and got Orlando plus 19.5 at one point in time in the game. So you always got areas where you can make money in play. NBA is the best to me. That's the bread and butter where you really make your money in the NBA, not pre-flop. Brooklyn and Indiana. Brooklyn now 10 straight losses in a row, 2-8 ATS over that last 10. Indiana, they finally got off the schneid, got a win. 1-7 their last 8 games. Now, head-to-head, Brooklyn is 4-1 ATS the last 5 versus the Indiana Pacers. 5 of the last 6 games the Pacers have played in have went under the total. 12 of the last 16 Brooklyn's played ins went over the total. Head-to-head, the under is cashed in 5 straight games between these two teams. 2 of the worst teams in the league. Pacers were just in the finals a year ago. Kind of hard to believe. But 0-7 is Brooklyn, straight up 2-5 ATS. Indiana 1-6 straight up, but 5-2 ATS. Indiana has taken the last 3 meetings, but all these have been pretty close, believe it or not. When you look at it, listen, I can't lay 6.5 with Indiana, and I can't do anything with Brooklyn right now, especially on a in the road situation. We had them a couple days ago, plus the points at home they covered. But we're getting like 8.5, 9 at home only getting 6.5 on the road. I can't bite. And the Pacers, I just can't lay it. Just nothing there. Want to get involved in as far as that goes. Good game here, kind of a sneaky good game, I think. The Utah Jazz at the Detroit Pistons. Pistons laying 10.5. Your over-under is 231.5. Now, 63% of ticket count going to the over, but it's only equating to 19% of the handle. 37% of ticket count to the under, that's equating to 81% of the handle. As far as the spread goes, bet ticket count about 50-50. Money a little bit more than 50-50. 60% of the money / handle going to the Pistons, the Jazz rather, 40% going to the hometown Pistons in this one. Now, when you look into the matchup, Utah 4-15 straight up their last 19 games, but they're 6-2 ATS over their last 8. Detroit, they're on a really good run, 5-1 straight up and 5-1 ATS both over their last 6. Head-to-head, 5 of the last 6 matchups between the Pistons and the Jazz have went over the total, and the over is cashed 4 of the last 5 games Detroit's played at home. However, huge stat here, put this in your back pocket. Utah versus Detroit. Over the last 18 matchups, Utah's won 15 of them, believe it or not. 15-3 are the Jazz over the Pistons the last 18 matchups. Jazz come in 3-4 straight up, but 5-2 ATS. Detroit both 5-2 straight up and ATS. Now, Pistons did take the last game in the series last March where they blew out Utah. But when you look at this, man, I just think 10.5 is a lot of points. We had the Jazz the other night at Boston, I think it was, catching 10.5. We've taken the Jazz a couple times this year. I'm going to lean towards Utah again. I really like what they're doing as far as from an injury front. Walker Kessler's out. I don't really like that. But you got Tobias Harris out for Detroit, so kind of offsets it a little bit along with Marcus Sasser. But look, 10.5 I think is a huge number. I lean Jazz in that tonight, catching 10.5 there. I just think that's a lot of points. Next game on the board, Washington Wizards versus the Boston Celtics. Y'all know my feeling on the Wizards. Live here locally, can't stand them. Horrible run organization. Celtics laying 11.5, over under 232.5. 55% of ticket count going to the over. That's equating to 92% of the handle. 45% of ticket count going to the under. That's equating to 8% of the handle. Now, as far as that spread goes, 61% of bets, 93% of the handles going to the Boston Celtics. 39% of ticket count, only 7% of the bets going to the Washington Wizards here. Now, when you get into some straight up stuff, Washington 0-5 straight up and 0-5 ATS in their last 5 games. Boston, we talked about 8 straight wins for Boston over the Washington Wizards. This may be just what Boston needs. Boston's really struggled coming out the gates. They're just 2-7 ATS over their last 9 and 3-6 straight up in that same time frame. The under 4 of the last 5 games has cashed head-to-head between these two teams. Look, when you look at this, Boston, as much as my disdain for the Wizards, 11.5 is a lot. Just a lot of points for a Boston team. Again, I'm a fan of the Celtics, but that's just a big number to be laying. Washington comes in 1-6, both straight up in ATS. Boston comes in 3-5 straight up, 5-6 ATS. Again, I know Boston's won 8 straight. They've won 13 of the last 15 versus the Wizards. If you're trying to build out some money line parlay, some big guy, I guess I could get down with it. So just for fun, if you put the Cavaliers and the Celtics together, we're at minus 213 at FanDuel. Going to have to find a third dance partner to get down there to help us out. But let's just go ahead and stick those to the side and see what we can come up with. The Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns Bowl. Yep, T-Wolves at the Knicks. Knicks laying 4.5, over under 229.5. 73% of tickets, 62% of the handle going to the over. 27% of ticket count, 38% of the handle going to the under in this one. Now, as far as that spread goes, Knicks, 60% of tickets going to the New York Knicks. That's equating to 53% of the handle. 40% of ticket count going to the T-Wolves. That's equating for 47% of the handle. Minnesota, they're just 2-6 ATS their last 8 matchups. and 2-6 their last 8 on the road. The over, however, Minnesota's been able to score points. 8 of the last 11 games have went over the total. Knicks are on a 5-0 ATS run at home, but head-to-head between these two teams, 9 of the last 13 have went under the total, and when they're playing at MSG, 5 of the last 7 have went under the total. So a lot of under trends here when these two teams get together, especially in New York. Both teams come in 4-3. Difference: New York 4-3 ATS. The T-Wolves are 2-5 ATS. They've split the last 10 meetings. Last meeting going to the T-Wolves 116-99 back on January 17th. As far as the injury report goes, Anthony Edwards, he's questionable. So I really wouldn't do anything without Edwards here so far in this one. I would say even if Edwards plays, or I wouldn't bet the T-Wolves without Edwards right there. And there's some 5s popping around out there. I could see if maybe you wanted to lean, Knicks, you put them in that parlay. So you have Cavs, Celtics, Knicks plus 130. I'm not sold on that yet with the Knicks. I'm sold on the Celtics Cavaliers part of it. But again, if you want to go Cavs, Celtics, Knicks, 3-team moneyline parlay plus 130 at FanDuel, I wouldn't hate you for it. But right now, just going to kind of set this one out for right now. Rockets, Grizzlies. Rockets laying 7.5 on the road. You're over under 232.5. 61% of bets, 47% of the handle going to the over. 39% of tickets, 53% of the handle going to the under. Now, as far as that spread goes, it's all Rockets. 76% of ticket count, 93% of the money going to the Houston Rockets. Only 24% of tickets, 7% of the handle going to the Memphis Grizzlies in this one. Houston, 7-3 ATS over their last 10. Memphis is on 0-5 ATS run their last 5 games, and they're only 1-4 straight up those last 5 overall. Under has been the way to go. For Memphis, 5 of the last 6 games they've played in have went under the total. But over may be the better route. Houston has hit the over 7 of their last 10 games. But more importantly, when the Rockets and Grizzlies match up, 4 of the last 5 meetings have went over the total. Now, Houston, 4-1 straight up their last 5, 7-3 ATS their last 10 overall. But here's the thing. They're 6-2 ATS the last 8 meetings with the Memphis Grizzlies. Rockets come in both 4-2 straight up in ATS. Grizzlies 3-5 straight up, 2-6 ATS. Rockets have taken 6 of the last 10 meetings, but this is a different Rockets team, different Grizzlies team. This Grizzlies franchise is a mess. Ja Morant, he continues to be a head case. The Rockets scoring the basketball. I don't want to lay 7.5 on the road, but a prop that's been getting home for me, I think I've taken it all but one game the Rockets have played in, has been this alt to score 20-plus points they do at FanDuel. Like they got scored 10-plus, 15, 20-plus. You could put Kevin Durant 20-plus points. I've hit it 5 times now. Cavaliers money line, Celtics money line, Durant to score at least 20. That's minus 130. I like that better than putting the Knicks in. I might sprinkle a little on that. But again, it would be Rockets or nothing for me, but I don't want to lay points on the road. I would rather look to Durant's point totals in that. Just nothing there I want to get involved in. Pelicans got their first win. We gave that out yesterday as an official play. Pelicans at the Mavs. Mavs laying 7.5. Over under 227.5. Now 64% of tickets, 83% of the handle going to the over. 36% of tickets, 17% of the handle going to the under. Now, on that spread, ticket count, pretty even. 54% for the hometown Mavs, 46% for the Pelicans. Money, a little different. 57% of the handle going to the Pelicans. You got 43% of the handle going to the Dallas Mavericks. So Zion, he did not play last night, even though they were able to get the win. And he's going to be out about a week here with this strained hamstring. I mean, that guy just cannot stay healthy for nothing. Derek Lively, he's been ruled out tonight for the Mavs. And then Anthony Davis, he's been ruled out tonight's game as well. So, listen, I can't lay 7.5 with the Mavs, but the Pelicans just got their first win, and they're back on the road. Listen, For me, even though it's a short trip to Dallas, for me, I would put Dallas in some type of parlay on the money line. But I can't lay 7.5 with the Mavericks. They're a mess. I can't take 7.5 with the Pelicans. They're coming off the back-to-back. Got no real interest in doing that whatsoever. Pelicans now 1-6 straight up, 2-4-1 ATS. The Mavs 2-5 straight up, 3-4 ATS. Mavericks have taken the last 2 meetings and 4 of the last 5 versus the Pelicans. But again, that's a little skewed because you're factoring in Kyrie and Anthony Davis, neither one of them suiting up, which puts it on PJ Washington and Cooper Flagg and company. I just don't see Dallas laying 7.5 here. I know Zion's out for the Pelicans. Pelicans had to fight hard to come from behind and win that game last night against the Hornets. Just going to be a set out for me. Denver Nuggets host the Miami Heat. Denver laying 9.5. You're over under 241.5. 43% of tickets to the over, 57% to the under. 83% of the money going to the over, 17% of the money going to the under. So the books are going to need that under unless some heavy money comes in today. Now, the 9.5, Nuggets are getting 60% of bets, 83% of the handle. Miami Heat getting 40% of ticket count, 17% of the handle. As always, you got to forgive my dogs. He loves to bark at anything that moves, anything. Miami, 5-2 ATS over their last 7, 4-2 straight up their last 6. Denver, 4-1 straight up their last 5 games overall. And Denver, we know the Mile High is a hard place to play. They're 7-1 ATS their last 8 home games. Now, head-to-head between these two, the under is cashed 5 of the last 7 matchups between Denver and Miami, and Denver has owned Miami from an ATS standpoint. They're 12-3 over the last 15 meetings between the two. Miami comes in 4-3 straight up, 5-2 ATS. A pleasant surprise. A lot of people picked them to be a dumpster fire and missed the playoffs. I had a preseason flop ticket for them to make the playoffs. Nuggets, 4-2 straight up, 3-3 ATS. Nuggets have won 7 in a row and 9 of the last 10 straight up in this matchup. Nuggets, always a hard team to play. Again, I'm not interested in laying 9, but we talked about that. Cavaliers, Celtics, money line, Durant to score 20+. Throw the Nuggets in there. That gets you to plus money, plus $1.21. So that might be the even better 4-team parlay look on that one. 3 more games on the slate for the night. Oklahoma City on their back-to-back. They got the win over the Clippers. Now they head up north to face the Portland Trailblazers. Thunder laying 5.5 on the road. 229.5 is your over-under. 75% of ticket counts. 82% of the money is going to the over. 25% of ticket count. Only 18% of the money going to the under. As far as that 5.5 goes, 74% of tickets, 57% of the handle going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Portland, 26% of bets, 43% of the money is going their way. Now, look, when you look at this for Portland, big ask here against the defending champs. Oklahoma City, 8-0 straight up. 8-0, your only undefeated team, 4-4 ATS. Portland comes in 4-3 straight up, 5-2 ATS. Now, Oklahoma City, they've absolutely dominated this series. 10 straight wins for them. Portland had won 3 in a row against LA, Utah, Denver, and then lost against LA. We had the Lakers that game, so that was a pleasant surprise for us. When you hop in to your ATS stuff, look, again, Oklahoma City's absolutely dominated them. But, however, I will say back-to-back, the line's short. The line's begging you to take the Thunder. I'm going to sprinkle a little play on Portland plus 5.5. Just a gut feeling there, more of a spot bet for me, but not a huge play by any means. Golden State at Sacramento. Golden State on a back-to-back with some old-legged guys. Kings laying 3.5 over under 226.5. Now, as far as that spread, 58% of bets going to the Warriors, but only 21% of the handle. That tells me Joe's 42% of bets, but 79% of the handle. That tells me some pros are on the Kings here. And I'm just going to pull up, kind of refresh the injury report here so we have real-time stuff. Jimmy Butler, he's going to be a game time decision Wednesday night. Isn't everybody? Steph Curry is out. Al Horford out. Melton's still out. Tui's still out. Now, for the Kings, here's what's important for them. Their star is Zach LaVine, who's averaging 27.4 points per game. He is questionable Wednesday with the back. And then you got Sabonis, who is listed as questionable with the ribs. So those are two big cogs there for the Kings. However, Kings right now laying that 3.5. You can actually find a 3 out there. Sacramento 1-4 straight up their last 5, 3-6 ATS over their last 9. But here's two good stats. Golden State is 5-2 against the spread their last 7 versus Sacramento, right? So they've dominated the spread. But straight up, Sacramento is 5-2 against Golden State. So a little bit of a flipperoo there. Look, when I look at this game, you can get the Kings minus 140 on the money line. That's going to be a play for me. I don't like the Warriors on a back-to-back situation without Steph. Draymond, little mile on the tires there. Horford's out. So I like the Kings minus $1.40. I'm going to get down with them today. So as far as straight plays, Kings, money line, and then a little sprinkle on the Jazz plus 10.5 and a little sprinkle on the Portland Trailblazers plus 5.5. Click that like, hit subscribe. Let's go to the last game of the night, and this promises to be a good one, folks. San Antonio Spurs visit the LA Lakers. Lakers right now are laying 2.5. There's a couple threes, 228.5, 73% of ticket count, 28% of the money is going to the over. 27% of ticket count, 72% of the money going to the under. Now, as far as ticket count, 52% Spurs, 48% Lakers, almost dead even. Same thing on the money. 51% Lakers, 49% Spurs. Gabe Vincent is out. Jackson Hayes is out. Max Keebler's out. All those guys are out for the Lakers. Austin Reeves is questionable with that groin. Luka is a go. Now, Luke Cornett is out for the Spurs. Kelly Olynyk, he's questionable tonight for the Spurs. And Waters is questionable. Look, as far as this goes, when you look in and you dive into some trends here, San Antonio 5-2 ATS their last 7, 6-1 straight up in that same time frame. Lakers 6-1 both straight up in ATS their last 7. Lakers have played to the over. The overs hit 7 of their last 8 games. And between these two teams, the overs cashed 5 of the last 7. Now, Lakers-Spurs straight up has been a different story. 9 of the last 11 matchups head-to-head have went to the LA Lakers. I'll grab the points, though, with the Spurs plus 3. That's going to be my leans and plays for this evening. Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Check out all of our content. Got some great college football stuff out there and NFL teaser show for the week. God bless and happy handicapping.